All right, so some stuff that's new but not new today. So I have introduced to you guys what is called the hey interrogative before. This is kind of equivalent to, if any of you have ever studied Espanol, like in Spanish, they have this at the beginning of a sentence. If it's an interrogative sentence, if it's a question sentence, they'll start the sentence with this sign. It's an upside down question mark. And then at the end of the sentence, they'll have the normal one, right? Oh, wait. I went right to left in Spanish. Okay, fine. Assuming Spanish like Hebrew, right to left. So they start with the upside down one, and then they end with the normal question mark. And they also do this with exclamation point as well. And this is actually kind of nice because if you're orating a book, for example, or a speech, or whatever, you're reading, you see before you read the sentence how your tone should be, right? Your intonation. Am I asking a question? Right? Instead of, am I asking a question? Right? If you mess up the intonation, sometimes it confuses people. Right? And so it's kind of a benefit in Spanish. They have this thing at the beginning of a sentence. They tell you, is this a question or not? Well, Hebrew can do the same thing. And you guys have seen it, but I didn't go over all of the rules for pointing because, again, get you in the water and dog paddling, and then we can teach you the breaststroke and to swim underwater and all those sorts of things. Sorry for the swimming analogy if any of you don't swim. So, okay. So the standard way, the most often way to point this upside down question mark in Hebrew is with a hey and a chatav patach. You attach that to a word. It does not stand alone. This is the hey interrogative, the questioning hey, right? And that makes the sentence into a question. Now what's nice is that interrogative sentences in Hebrew are just like they are in English. So the sentence can be a real question, right? I could say, Hashalachta et Moshe lebayit? Did you send Moshe to the house? Pardon me, labayit, to the house? Or they can actually be, I just had a brain thought. What's it called when you ask a question but you're not really asking? Right? Have you lost your mind? You're not literally asking if the person lost their mind. You're asking. You're making a statement. Thank you. Whew. Rhetorical. I have not had my coffee today. Rhetorical question. So Hebrew does that also with a hey interrogative. You can do it with a hey interrogative also. So context will help you determine how to. Well, you'll translate it the same, right? It's up to the reader to know that it's rhetorical or not in context. So, all right. So this is the most often way it's pointed is the chatav patach. Notice there's no dagesh or anything like this. Okay. Now, if the word starts with a shwa, interestingly enough, since we can't have two shwas in a row, what we do is we just drop the shwa part, and it becomes patach. Now, this can result in some ambiguity, because depending on the word, it could look like it's the definite article, right? If it's a chayt, like a strong guttural that can't take a dagesh, but doesn't cause the lengthening to patach, you can end up with some ambiguity there, right? But usually, it's very clear that you're not saying the whatever in that case, especially if it's a verb or something else like this, right? So, all right. So, standard form, chatav patach, that's the half, the composite shwa. Next form is a patach, if it's before the shwa. And so you guys got what I was saying there, right? Like, let me make it orange. Let's do some orange. Well, maybe we'll do red since that's the color we have here. Okay. So, the standard form is a composite shwa. If the word starts with a shwa, we have a problem, right? Because you cannot start a word with two shwas in a row. So this one's not allowed. And so it just goes away. And then just delete the shwa part. I think that's the easiest way to remember it. All right? If it comes before a guttural, also it lengthens to patach. And if it comes before gutturals with comets, it lengthens to segol. Look at that, kind of similar to our definite article rules. Okay? These are upside down question marks if you've done Espanol. Oh boy. Every once in a while I zoom and I don't know how I do that. That's useful if I could just figure out how to do it. Nope, that's not doing it. Okay. Fine. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to clear all. for you screenshot takers.
Rabbi,
Yes.
Rabbi, can I, you can clarify this hey with patak before Shiba? I give example. Habrit, habrit before before Shiba.
Okay, I'm going to try to write what you're
The-
saying, and you tell me if I got it right. Okay. So you're saying you're asking about. You got the word breathe, right?
Yes, yes, Rabbi.
Breathe.
Habrit.
Okay.
Habrit,
And then
yes.
you have ha. Yeah, like that.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
Rabbi.
So that's a different issue. In this case, that's the definite article. The ha and the dagesh, this guy and this guy, equals the. That's the definite article.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's the ancient word was hal, and the lamed
Mm.
assimilated into the bait, so it made into two baits. So in ancient times, it would have been hal berit, and then that all became ha berit. Ha berit. Okay, good.
Oh, great. Thank you, Rabbi. I
Sure.
understand.
Okay, great. Okay, but not to be confused with this one. Look, there's no dagash, right? We have no dagash happening, so this one's a question mark. Okay, good. If you want to take a picture, I'll give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And okay, go. So, all right. This is a mistake. This is not verb review. This is the interrogative pronoun. Okay. The interrogative pronoun we have here is ma, and you guys have learned ma before, but we did not go through all the
Mm.
rules for its pointing. I only briefly mentioned it, and so now let's get a little bit deeper. Now that you're hopefully used to seeing it sometimes. So the problem with ma is it can take all of these forms. See the red here? All these forms. It can be ma with a comment. It can be ma with patach, or it can be meh, meh with segol. How was the movie? Meh. So more specifically, it's pointed very similarly to what Tom was asking about, the definite article, right? So, definite article, if you were to try to put an article in Aleph, you can't because it cannot take a dagesh. The dagesh is rejected, and so it causes it to lengthen. Ha. So maybe I'll write that out. Let's write that out. Okay. So if I wanted to say the man, right? Okay. Adam with my huge mem Sophie. And then we try to say patak and put a dagesh, but the aleph doesn't take a dagesh, so instead that migrates down and it lengthens the patak into a comment. So ha-adam. So the same thing is happening here.
Hello.
Yes, do you hear me? Does everybody hear me? So the same thing happens
We
here.
hear you, Rabbi.
Okay, great. So the same thing happens here. Just like we would have lengthened the patak to a comment if we put that definite article, so too we do before ma, mem hey. We put the definite article. And you notice a lot of times there'll be a maket after it, right? So the idea is it is read together as a compound word. So this is why it's influenced by what follows, okay? If you recall, before the harsh gutturals, we have this rule for the definite article pointing. So if you don't remember your definite article pointing rules, please go out to the Hebrew Literacy YouTube channel to Language Snippets and look at the video on the definite article. All right, that will refresh your memory. Tom, please go watch that. Yeah, any of you who might be forgetting that, that's a good thing to go watch. Yeah, you go watch that video and that'll refresh you on the rules. Yeah, and I think it's only like 12 minutes or something. It's not too long. Okay, so it's in the Language Snippets playlist. Okay, so with the rough gutturals, if you recall, the quote unquote rough, or some say harsh gutturals. These guys are hey and chet. They're the quote-unquote rough or harsh gutturals, okay? So when you try to put a definite article in front of those guys, what happens is we just have patach. There's no attempt to put dagesh, no need to lengthen, it's just patach, just ha. The darkness, ha choshech. Ha choshech, that's it. Straightforward like that. The man, pardon me, the that one, ha who. So here we have, wow, amazing. I keep accidentally grabbing the screen. I need to learn how that happens. Definite article, the, ha, and I should have used a different color for the word we're attaching to. Let's do that. Ooh. The that one, right? Who means he, and the way the Hebrew says that is he or she, right? Talking about an object. So hahu is the that one, right? So if I want to say, what is that? I could say, mahu. So you see, we take the same vowel that we would have used with the definite article, and that's the vowel that we put under the mem. We'll do a half arrow. That guy. Okay. All right. Before an iron or the rough gutturals, if they have a comments under them, we change the spelling to segol. Okay. So if I want to say the dust, right? Let's do this. Let's say, no, different color. Afal. Go back. Afal, dust. If I want to put the definite article there, then we have this rule that we will point it with segol. He afal. He afal. And technically, there'll usually be a meteg there. You don't have to worry about that. He afal. So once again, we take that vowel, and that's what we put underneath the mem. Me'asa. What did he do? Ma Adam. What is man that you are mindful of him? Mahu. What is that? Me'asa. What did he do? Okay. These are the interrogative pronouns. Let me not verb review. It's the interrogative pronoun. We have another one. We have me, which you've seen, which means who, but that one doesn't change. Okay, any questions?
Hey,
Yes.
Rabbi, can I comment that underline up there? That is that word pair forms? The underline.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you got these word pair forms. You brought this up before, Achi. I don't think that's usually very helpful. I don't really know what that's from. The only place that I've seen word pairs is when we compare poetic word pairs from Ugaritic, from the Rosh Hashanah texts to Hebrew. So that's the word pair form that I'm familiar. Maybe I don't know if that's the same thing you've heard and where you're getting this term from, bro. If you want to elucidate, maybe I can look around a little bit and see what's going on with that.
Rabbi, lastly, how about maze? Maze.
What is this? Means what is this? Maze.
Yes.
Yeah, maze.
What is this?
What is this?
Yeah.
Yes,
Maze.
exactly.
What is this?
Exactly. Great. See, so you got that. You have that already from some of your modern Hebrew learning. Very good.
Yes. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you.
Sure thing. Sure thing. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Shalom, Rab.
Shalom, Nilma.
So,
Yes.
how about the vowel pointing of the before any letter? So,
The what? The vowel pointing before any letter?
yes, like the shalom, mashalom ka, mashim ka.
Uh-huh.
What is the vowel pointing of the interrogative hey?
Okay. The hey okay, let's go back. Oh no, hey interrogative, you mean of the interrogative pronoun. Ma, right? Interrogative pronoun? Interrogative pronoun you mean, right?
Interrogative, sorry, interrogative pronoun,
Oh yeah.
Yes, interrogative pronoun.
Yeah, no problem. The standard, yeah, well, that's right. I didn't put the normal one in here, did I? The normal pointing of the interrogative pronoun will be patach. And then it will be followed by a dagesh. So yeah, I can't believe it. I'm glad you asked. I'm surprised I didn't put that in there. Let me see if I have a prettier example here that I can hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on. Let me look. If I can give you a nice example of that. Let's see. Just if I have a pretty picture, I can show you. Yeah, okay. I'll just write it by hand. I'm not seeing any pretty pictures. So, all right. So the normal way, again, it behaves just like the definite article, right? So, and then okay, I know I didn't include it because I taught you guys this already. That's why we have the normal form. That was something that you learned already. Okay, so but let me put it on the screen for the sake of completion. Let's see here. So yeah, that's right. You learned the normal form, and I quickly breezed through the other forms and said you don't have to know this yet. Now you need to know it. Okay, so the normal form, the way that it usually will show up. Let me change my color here. To blue. Okay. Oh no, we'll do red. Since I have it in red up above. Okay. So first, with the way that you guys learned this already, is you should say ma. Just like the definite article tries to have a patach, we try to have a patach here as well. And then the next word, just like the standard form for the definite article, we put a dagesh. Okay. So that's the one that we discussed already in class. But I think it'd be nicer to have it here for completion. Thanks for asking about that. Sorry, that one's not pretty. Okay? Did that answer your question?
Yes,
Rabbi,
Rab.
So in the case of Mashlom
can I?
Cha, sure, real quick, let me real quickly do his full question, okay? Just a second, then you're next, Tom. Just a second. So, because he asked for this example, ma. My mouse disappeared. What? Oh, it's my yellow. Okay. So, sheen, ma. There'd be a makef here, or a space. There's a space, okay? Ma. Okay. Shalom. Ha. Okay? Is that good? Answer your question? All good? Okay. Tom.
Kane, to the.
Sure. Tom, what's your question?
Yeah, Rabbi, I have another here.
Okay.
From this is a question word.
All right.
Example, ma ose hamore.
What is the teacher doing?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
Ma ose hamore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's similar. Yeah, okay. Ma'ose. So this sounds to me like yeah, okay. So okay, hold on. So you want to know how to point the ma? Is that what you're asking? How to point it? I'm not sure
Yes,
what the question
Rabbi.
is.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's think through
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
happening. So the word is ose. So I'll write that down here in yellow. Ose. I'm going to write it with a defective holum. If you're looking at a modern Hebrew text, that's probably going to be a full holum. They'll draw the full line there, but I'm not going to do it that way. Okay. Ma ose. So there's the ose. What is doing? Okay. There's ose. What is doing? Okay. So here we have an ion, but look, there's no comments. There's no comments, right? Okay. So what would we do if this was a definite article? We would say, let me change to red. Ma. Let's put our consonants down. Maketh. Okay. Okay, so if you look, here's our rule at the top before ayin, aleph, or resh. If if there's no comments involved, right? Which is the same rule we have for the definite article. If we had a word that starts with an ayin but it doesn't have patach, then the definite article also gets comments. So we just use the same rule. So this is how you would point that ma ose. Is that okay, Tom? Good.
Yeah, Rabbi.
Yofi.
Example, that's my question. If how about I answer? Hamore lokay ak et haseper.
Sure. The teacher is reading the book. Is that what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ken.
Yeah. Now you should know that in biblical Hebrew it's different. If you say that statement in biblical Hebrew, it means the teacher is reciting the book, right? Which is really not or calling out the book. In biblical Hebrew, to read, you have to say be sefer. So it's kara plus be sefer. It's really like calling out in a book in a scroll. So that's a bit of a difference there from modern and Tanafi. Okay, nice. Okay, any other questions?
Thank you, Rabbi.
Sure.
Rab,
Yes.
so Rab,
Yes.
so the comments that are under mem, ma o se is because ayin is guttural.
Yes.
Okay.
Just like we have with the definite article. You remember the definite article rules?
Yes.
Right. The dagesh tries to go in there. It can't. So it comes down and it lengthens the patach. We get compensatory lengthening. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Yes, po.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Question. But how come
Okay, Doc.
in the third line? Yeah. How come in the third line the one under the mem is a sigol,
Yeah.
but in Maose it is comets?
Yeah. This is because the ion has a comets underneath it. Here, let me colorize that to kind of draw attention to it. So,
I see.
yeah, whenever the
I see. Okay.
right, you see that this guy here, I'll make him blue. Okay. Yeah, that is the factor. That's our
Mhm.
comets factor. So when those letters,
So other than a comets,
yes, go ahead.
it becomes a comets for the mem.
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
Rabbi,
Yes,
can I ask
Yoma.
again? So when I say, what have you done to me? When I say, what have you done to me? I will
Maasatani.
say, me asita, me asita, me asita di.
Oh yeah, that's better. Yeah. But you could also stack it up.
Okay, ito da,
You could also stack it up and say asatani.
asatani.
This is the biblical Hebrew form, right? You have done to me. It's all one word, like in the Psalm, right? Eli Eli lama azabtani, right? Why have you abandoned me? Right? You can say it the way you said it. That's also correct. It's also correct to say azabta oti, right? But you can stack it up, which I think is more beautiful. The Bible can stack them up. We've lost this form in modern Hebrew. In modern Hebrew, you can't stack it anymore. You can do both. You can just do the ot, asafta oti, but pardon me, azafta oti. But in biblical, we can stack azaftani. You can use your pronominal suffixes, and usually we just put a noon like as glue to glue that suffix to the end of the verb. Azaftani, right? Because Hebrew doesn't have diphthongs. We can't say, well, okay, doesn't have true diphthongs, but it tries to avoid stacking up vowels. So we wouldn't really want to say azaftai So instead we say azaftani. Yeah. Part of the problem is that it would have been hard to write that in the text, azaftai. So, good. Asatani, you have
Okay,
done
Rab.
to me.
So in Asatani, you drop the hey.
Yes. The hey becomes a tav.
Thank you.
It becomes a tav. In lamed hey verbs, when you conjugate the verb, oftentimes the hey reverts to a tav for the sake of pronunciation. Yeah, and yeah. Okay, good. Good. Okay, any other questions? I'm trying not to go too deep, too complicated. I will just say that in some verbal forms, when you put on the suffix, the vowels will change. And so your me becomes a ma, right? That's why at first I said ma azatani. I mean ma asatani, right? What have you done to me? So your comment says they might change and become shorter vowels, in which case you no longer have an ayin with the comment center, so it's not me. Okay. But in your form when you said asata oti, correct, because we don't have any changes in the vowels there. Okay, I said the more complicated thing.
So
Yeah.
one more. Resh is also considered a guttural.
Reish behaves like a guttural, yes. It's not really a guttural technically in linguistic terms. It's like a laryngeal or what they call it something else. But for our purposes in grammar, it behaves like a guttural because it cannot be doubled. Basically, you could say it's not a guttural; it's a non-doubler. So you could say that the letters that cannot be doubled are the gutturals and the non-doubler resh. but it just, for our purposes, we include it with the gutturals. It makes everything easier grammatically to categorize. But it's not technically. Right? It's not made with the throat, really.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Yes.
Rabbi,
Yes.
Rabbi,
Yes, Tom.
how about how about mazot? Mazot.
What is this? Yeah, it's also going to have the dagesh in it, right? So ma zot. It's going to be
Yes.
pointed the same way. Let me see what my colors are here. So let's say so ma. So we're going to say ma, preferably with makef, and we're going to try to put a dagesh in that first letter. Yeah, and then zot we'll just write like we normally would. Although there's two ways to spell zot. It has a defective spelling also. So we'll say Zion. These are Zion. I had to bend it around the dagesh. Zion, Aleph, Tav, Mazot. What is this? Mazeh, same way, Dagish and the Zayin. Okay? Any other questions? Ooh, I'm glad I chose to share this one today. There's a lot of interest in it. Baruch Hashem. All right. So I'm going to clear the screen of the chicken scratch handwriting, and I'll just change one thing for those of you who want to do a screenshot on this. Clear. And I'm going to change that thing where it says verb review. Let's just fix that again. Okay. Get rid of that. Okay. This is the interrogative pronoun. And let's put up the first rule there that Yomar asked about for the sake of completion. That's a good idea. I changed it to red. It didn't change. Go to red. Okay. Patach. Hey. Kef. And then a dagesh in that first letter of the next word. I wish I had white as an ink color. Why would it let me have white? That doesn't seem right. You try to do that, right? So that's the normal way. Normally, this one we've learned. This, you guys should know this one. This is the normal way, right? Just like this is very similar. That's a similar sign if you guys don't know that. The mathematics is similar to, and in logic similar to, our definite article rule, where normally, we first try to have hey and a dagesh, right? That's the first thing we try. So this very closely mimics the definite article rules. Not exactly, but very close, right?